Hey guys, TRScientist here, and today I am back for day number 29, I think I'm on. Yeah, 29. Oh my gosh. Only like 2 more episodes of regular revenge, then I'm moving on to pro revenge. Like, damn. It is just getting more and more wild with these stories. Although, we'll start off with something very, very small. Because I have 4 stories lined up, and the second story is a really nice short one with crap in the story. Neighbour fed up. Neighbour fed up with dog crap. Outside my neighbour's houses is a small strip of grass right next to the pavement. There's a very annoying person up the street that every day allows their dog to crap on that grass and never picks it up. They have been asked multiple times to stop it, but just reply with obscenities. My neighbour has just enacted their revenge. I'm still laughing my head off at the pictures. He's been picking up the crap and putting it in a bucket for weeks, and last night he returned to sender. On the annoying person's front step is now an inch thick layer of dog crap with a little flag in it saying, "I think you dropped this." That is so... that is petty. But it's like, here's your shit back. Here's your dog's shit. How did you get an inch thick of dog crap? And did you put it on top of the mat, of the welcome mat? Because if you did, that's the cherry on the cake. You ruined the welcome mat. They have to like basically throw that out and replace it. Oh my god. It's just like, I just picture this guy just going over there and just like, okay, let's pour this out. It's like the boo sounds. It's like biscuits and liquidy at the same time. It's just like, and then just the little flag on top. It's just like, ding. And then just, and walks home knowing what he's done. Okay. Steal from me? Fine. I'll sell your dress then. So I created my account in Reddit and read so much revenge stories in subreddits, and oh boy, I too have some stories to tell. So this happened in my second year of college. I moved to a new dorm. Old dorm has some construction issue, health hazard. The first 2 months in my new dorm is great. My roommates are great. They do their chores and respecting everyone's privacy. For an introvert person, that is a score for me because I don't like any unnecessary confrontation. All is well, not until my friend moved in. Let's call her Magna. Her last name, McCord JK. We're not even that close, but we belong in the same circle of friends. Magna is the opposite of us. She's very loud, doesn't do her chores on time, and is always out very late. It causes us some disturbance because we should be inside at 11 p.m. She returns at around 2 or 3 in the morning, banging the door, demanding to let her in. In general, she's a good friend. We're cool, except for this bad habit. Until I notice my allowances is quickly decreasing. At first, I thought I might have made some purchases that I have forgot, or I'm spending so much on food and unnecessary items. That's why I budgeted my money, and I quickly noticed that I'm not overspending, but someone is stealing from me. I didn't know who. That's why I decided to purchase a nanny cam to catch the burglar in the act. 2 weeks after installing my nanny cam, and lo and behold, Magna is snooping in my room like a rat. When she reached for my purse that is in my wardrobe, She steals some bills from me upon checking that it was worth $10. Might be a small amount for you guys, but for a not so well off person such as myself, it is already a big deal, and who knows how long she's been stealing from me. This is where I hatched a plan. As I said, I don't like any confrontation, so the solution I see is to steal from her, aka sell her clothes, whatever I can find that can suffice the money that she stole. This went up for 8 months. She already stole about $200 from me, and I already sold about 3 blouses, 6 of her dresses, 4 pants, 4 shoes, some of her art mats, branded ones, and her ukulele. Most of this are never worn or branded items. Why didn't she notice, you might be asking? Because she owns a lot of things and she is so disorganized. Her room is a complete mess. The last straw was when I caught her trying on my clothes, underwear. Nasty bitch. That's when I called her and told her to get out, and I could see her in my room, snooping. She ran and locked herself in her room. She returned to my dorm and went to my room. Surprise, surprise, Magna... surprise, surprise, Magna is nowhere to be found. I wonder why. Later that day, her mother came and told us Magna is moving out. My other roommates are asking what was the reason. Her mother doesn't know. She said she came home crying, asking to move out, but not saying the reason. A few months later, that no sign of Magna until a party was held. She confronted me, saying, "How dare you sell my dress?" I told her I don't have any idea of what she's saying. She told me I sold her dress that was given to her by her late grandmother. She's accusing me as a klepto now. Now, I told her between the two of us, I am the one who has proof she has been stealing from me, and if she wants to cause a scene and accuse me, we'll meet in court. She walked away, and I never saw her since. Eye for an eye, I guess. It's just like, how do you not notice she sold your dress? Like, how do you not notice? Because, like, ironically, she's a klepto for not cleaning her fucking room. Like, why? Like, she gets caught stealing, and then she has the audacity to be like, "You sold my dress!" Like, yeah, and I have proof of you stealing. You don't have proof of me selling your stuff. Like, there's a one-sided case in that situation. Oh my god. We'll probably finish off with this story for today. Friend and I take what was supposed to be a concert of a lifetime. I ended up ditching him and his friend in another city. This happened when I was just out of high school. When I was in grade 9 and 10, my best friend and I hung out together constantly. We had known each other through sports when we were younger, but it wasn't until high school we really started hanging out. I have to say this story has 3 people. Me equaling me. BF is my best friend, and AH is his asshole buddy who never liked me for whatever reasons. Anyways, at the time I was into punk rock and he was into folk/hippie music. His favourite was Neil Young. I'd laugh and poke fun at him for his shit music, and I admit I never knew who he was or his music. One day I was helping best friend, I don't know why I went to say boyfriend, clean his room. His mum said he couldn't go out until it was done, so I helped, and I came across a Neil Young tape. I remember it had 2 albums, After the Gold Rush and Harvest. Again, I poked fun about his taste in music, and he said to me, "You know, you shouldn't make fun of his music if you've never listened to it." For whatever reason, it dawned on me that he was right. So I told him, "You know what? You're right. I'll take this home, listen to it, then I'll poke fun at you tomorrow." fair enough. So I go home and listen to the first song on After the Gold Rush. The song was Tell Me Why. I couldn't believe how much I loved it. The style, the acoustic guitars, the harmonizing. I ended up listening to it 3 times in my parents' kitchen, and then I listened to the whole album. I was blown away, and the next day I told him sorry, I was wrong, and Neil Young is now one of my favorites. He actually was he was actually the one that got me out of punk music and into the 60s, 70s hippie sort of music. So we hung out constantly for a few years, and things are great. One day we're hanging out, listening to Neil, getting some puffs in on a reefer, when we both agreed that we wanted to see Neil Young play live on day. We made a pact that if we ever stopped being friends, if life ever got in the way of our friendship and we drifted apart, that we would still, no matter what, go see Neil together. So a couple of years go by, and of course, we had drifted apart. We both had new friends and hardly ever spoke anymore. One day I get a call from him out of the blue. He says, Neil Young is going to play at Calgary for a show. Neil Young is going to Calgary for a show. Are we going? I was super excited, and I guess in a sentimental, nostalgic way, felt nothing but good love for my old friend. We hung out again, and we were both so stoked that our old promise came to fruition. Supposed to be show of a lifetime, right? Of course not. Now I have to tell you, during the 2 years we had drifted apart, he started hanging out with the one I call A.H. Arsehole. He and I never got along, and that's that. I don't know why he liked the guy so much, since he was always a total prick to almost everyone, and he never had any money. Always bum smokes, weed, food, all the time. So the day of our road trip comes up, and I'm super happy. I drive to my best friend's place to pick him up, and all is well. Once he gets in my car, he says, "Hey man, we gotta stop by AH's place so I can drop off a sweater." I thought that was weird, since it wasn't cold out and hardly a desperate need for a sweater on a nice weekend. But he did have a thick sweater in his hands, so whatever. This AH wants his sweater. This is where things go downhill. We pull up to AH's place, and there's a piece of shit standing on top of his stoop with an overnight bag. I turn to best friend and say, "What the motherfucking fuck, dude? Why the fuck does asshole have a bag?" Best friend proceeds to tell me that he invited AH along, and he admitted he lied to me because he knew no way in hell I would drive to go get him. I told best friend I thought this was our thing, Neil Young, as promised years ago. He felt bad, I guess, but nowhere near as bad as I think he should have felt. Anyways, the drive to Calgary was them having a great time with me driving the whole 7.5 hours. Arsehole also, of course, had no smokes, no weed, nothing but enough money he was hoping would be enough for a cheap nosebleed section ticket. At least he wouldn't be sitting with us though. AH didn't even offer up a cent for the hotel either. We go to the concert, have an awesome, amazing time, and I was hoping things would be looking up. After the concert, I decided to go out with a couple of friends I hadn't seen in a couple of years. They lived in that city, obviously. We went out without her best friend and arsehole, and had a drunken, awesome time. It was the first time I tried ecstasy, and I have to say I was wrecked. I ended up parking in downtown Calgary and walking a long way to find my hotel. I eventually found it and went up to the room and ended up passing out underneath the sink by the bathroom around 3 a.m. I somehow managed to wake up an hour before checkout, and man, I felt like total shit. So fucking hungover and not feeling all that hot. Haha, those were the days. So I pack up my heavy bag and my guitar. I used to play in a band with best friend in high school, so I thought it would be nice to sing old songs on the trip. Never did because of AH. I leave the room carrying what felt like 1,000 pounds of shit to the lobby, only to see my best friend and AH sitting there happily eating breakfast. I talked to them for a minute to tell them I had to go find my car, as it was somewhere in downtown Calgary. They smile and say sure, they'll be waiting for me in the restaurant. I go lugging my heavy shit, and it took me well over an hour of walking all over downtown looking for this stupid car. I almost orgasmed when I turned the corner and finally found the car. My arms are killing me, the hangover is killing me, and all I can think of is getting into the car for the terrible drive home. The sooner I get into the car, the sooner I can get home. I put my shit down and go into my coat pocket. No keys. I'm frantic as I look in every pocket I have. No keys. I was pissed. I somehow knew my best friend or AH had something to do with this. To make things worse, while looking for my car, I ended up going in all directions, so I was confused as to where my hotel was now. It took me a half hour to find it, all while still carrying my heavy shit. I finally find the hotel and angrily go into the restaurant to see my best friend and AH smiling at me like I was the butt of some joke. I marched up to them with fire in my eyes and their deaths in my mind. I looked at best friend and said slowly with lots of anger, "Give me my fucking keys now!" He laughs and hands them to me. I ask why the fuck he would take my keys from my coat as I was passed out. His reason was moronic. He told me, "I knew you were pissed AH came along with us, so I took your keys so I would know I would have them and you wouldn't take off home and leave us in another city." I asked why the fuck he would let me go look for my car without my keys when he knew full fucking well I didn't know exactly where my car was and I was going to have to do a major search in a downtown area. I don't recall his answer, but it was likely a stupid smile, like he had pranked me or something. I looked at both best friend and AH, and without a lick of heat, I'm leaving this fucking place right this fucking second, and I'm not coming back. If you and AH aren't right behind me to get in the car, I'm leaving to drive the 7.5 hour drive home alone. They literally laughed at me like I was a joke to them, as if they were so important I would never go through with what I said. Their laughs faded away as I again walked to get my car. Of course, I didn't go back, and I got to my car, went to the local gas station for directions to the highway home, long before Google Maps and internet, and happily went on my way. I heard later from best friend. He didn't cut me off completely after that, surprisingly, and he told me how I left. He and AH both were like, "He's joking. Hey, do you think?" "Nah, he would never ditch us here. No fucking way." They waited, and they finally realized the worst. I kept my word and fucked off back home without them. Best friend told me they tried to hitchhike home, but no one would pick them up. He then told me it started to rain super bad. I knew because it rained a lot on my comfortable drive home. Best friend said he eventually had to beg someone back home to send him money so they could rent a car. That's basically the end of it. I had told best friend that I felt he ruined our trip by bringing along someone he knew didn't like me. So I don't see how he would have thought I was joking about leaving them, especially after he saw my keys and laughed after he knew I'd be fucked once I found my car. He also knew how sick and hungover I was. It's funny because I was reminded of this story when I saw best friend at the local Safeway store today. He never held a grudge against me. Nice to say. AH, however, for the next 20 years, would see me and yell, "Calgary!" as a hello and a goodbye. I see him around once a year, and last time at the bar he was a bit drunk and all his anger came out again. All that became of that all that became of that was me telling the people at the bar what I was so pissed about, and us all, minus AH, having a good laugh. Edit, this was taken down from Pro Revenge, as it wasn't pro enough. If you think it sounds familiar, that's why. Yeah, I would agree this isn't really pro enough for Pro Revenge, but you... like, all you just did was just literally just leave them. Just leave your friend and a-hole behind. Just, yeah. And I'm amazed your best friend didn't hold a grudge against you for that, because he does. I feel like he recognized, I sort of deserved that one. Like, I sort of deserved that one because I tricked him into bringing my friend that didn't like him with me. Like, yeah, like he knows what he's done, and he's accepted that, and he's just moved on with life. Dumb choices and all that. I don't think I'm going to have time for the last story, so I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and also my second channel, of which there are links on the screen to the playlist and the last episode. Go check it out. There's a lot of episodes out. Like, over 70 episodes at this point. Like, it is maddening how many episodes are out in such a short amount of time. Oh my gosh. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.